Hi, folks. We're doing evaluating numerical expressions involving integers. This is B2 of the algebra section of IXL. So let's get started on it. We need to remember to follow order of operations. That's one of the things we have to do. And let's take a look and see what they have for us. Okay, we do have to multiply before we subtract. Once again, I don't do subtraction. I think of this as plus a -4. So what we've really got here is 4 times 4. I prefer parentheses instead of x's, plus -4. According to order of operations, we do the multiplication first. Sorry, plus -4. And of course, that's 12. One of the things I like to do is go order of operations working down the paper, as you can see I'm doing here. And I'm going to put in my 12. Get rid of this. Hopefully this will get a little more interesting. This one is going to be 9. We have to do the multiplication first, not because it's left to right, but because it follows order of operations. Order of operations, or PEMDAS if you like. Let me write it out for you. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division left to right, and then addition and subtraction left to right. We start with multiplication and division is above addition and subtraction, so we do that first. And of course, we have 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4, which is 13. Now, this is where a lot of people have trouble. It is very common to make a mistake when you have addition and subtraction mixed. Again, I don't like subtraction for that reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as -4 plus 1 plus -4. Now this happens to be the same, sorry, that negative there, -4 plus 1 minus 4. You don't really want to leave this alone like this, because 1 minus 4 is not as good as 1 plus -4, even though you get the same result. With this addition, I can do this in any order I want. In other words, I can add these two negatives together and get -8 plus 1. I could add these left to right, but because I got rid of the subtraction and changed it to adding the opposite, I can add these in any order I choose. You can't do that in the first term, in the first one. So this is a bad idea. This is much better. Sorry about the ugly looking negative there. So this is going to be -3 plus -4, which of course is -7. Be careful, I'm adding two negatives together, which means that debt accumulates. If you owe 3 and you owe 4 more, you end up owing 7. There we go. Again, we've got a double negative here and we don't like it. I'm going to write it as 10 plus 3 plus 1. And order doesn't matter. And of course, we're talking about 14 here. Move it along here so you can get this done. In this case, I am going to change this double negative subtraction into a positive. I'm going to talk about that as being plus 8 times -8. Now, again, I don't like that x business, so I'm going to write it as x plus 8, -8. Now, a lot of people make the error of going left to right, but remember, multiplication comes first. So we have to do this multiplication first, and this is 8 times -8, which is -64, plus -1. And then I can do the addition, which is -65. I have to write it a little higher. All right, we've got a plus and a plus. And again, a left to right is a very common error. Be careful. We are talking about, in this case, 5 plus 6 plus 3 times 6. I'm going to write this as in parentheses. That is 18 plus 5 plus 6. Order doesn't matter, but that is 11 and 18, which makes 29. Division and multiplication. A lot of people think it's multiplication and then division. That's not true. Be very careful. The reason they think that is because of this. P, E, N, D, A, S. A lot of people think it's multiplication and then division, but that's not true. In fact, sometimes I'll do this. Division, multiplication, subtraction, addition, because left to right is what matters. In this particular case, we've got 10 plus a negative 1 times 6 divided by 6. Now, in this particular case, you do left to right, the multiplication and division in order. So I'm talking about negative 1 times 6, which is negative 6, divided by 6. Now, another common mistake is to start writing equal signs. Really bad idea. What I would do is leave this 10 here, and there is a plus in there. I still have to do the division before I can do the addition. So I've got 10 plus negative 1, which is 9. Looks like we're starting with the division and then doing subtraction and addition. Now, I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this. Sometimes it helps to see things done the wrong way. This is a very common mistake. I see students do this a lot. They'll say 8 divided by 4. By the way, this is a wrong. 2 minus 7 is negative 5 plus 6, which is 1. I see this a lot. First of all, this isn't true. That's one of the problems. This is right here, this is 2. Right here, this is negative 5. Right here, this is positive 1. And over here is 1. This is not correct. The answer is correct, but the order of operations is important. And what you want to do is you want to write it 8 divided by 4 plus negative 7 plus 6. Notice that I changed it from subtraction to adding the opposite. Now, because these are separated by addition, because this division right here is separated by addition, with this addition, I could do these at the same time, but I'm not going to. I'm going to write 2 plus negative 7 plus 6. 2 plus negative 7 is negative 5 plus 6, which is 1. A lot of people say, well, it's faster to do what you see up here. First of all, this is wrong. Second, this is a very good habit to get into, working down your paper and simplifying one step at a time. This is 1. Now we've got some parentheses. Everything inside the parentheses has to be done before you do that division. So we've got 2 divided by, everything inside the parentheses has to be done, 6 plus negative 8 divided by 1. Now I rewrote it. I probably would prefer to write it with division bars instead of division symbol, but I'll write it this way so it looks a little nicer. This is 2 divided by, I have to do what's inside the parentheses first, and I can't do the addition first. I have to do the division first. Negative 8 divided by 1 is negative 8, and 6 plus negative 8 is negative 2, and when I divide it, I get negative 1. I don't want to spend all day on this, so we'll just get moving here. I've got an addition in here, so we've got negative 2 times 9 divided by, parentheses, 6 plus 3. I've got negative 2 times 9 divided by 9. Now here's where we've got a little problem. Notice that we have multiplication here and then we have division over here. It's not division and then multiplication, or multiplication and then division. It's, you have to go left to right since they're all on the same level. So we've got negative 18 divided by 9, which is negative 2. Parentheses, we have to do this first. I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit quicker here. Well, yeah, this is 3 plus 8 right here. If you can't see that, I'm just doing this piece right here. 3 plus 8 is 11 divided by negative 2 times 6. Again, I like parentheses instead of the, let me get that negative a little bigger. There we go. 11 divided by negative 2, some people are going to want a decimal here. In this particular case, a fraction works just as well. I know some people don't like improper fractions. It doesn't matter. Either way you do this, you're going to end up with 11 divided by negative 2 is negative 5.5. Some people are going to grab their handy dandy calculator, which is not a good idea. If you multiply these, hopefully you can do it in your head. If you can't, it happens to be negative 33. If you need to, you can do the multiplication in the margin. And remember that there is a negative there. But the easy way to do this is 11 over negative 2, which is the same thing as this piece right there, times 6 over 1, if you like. And the simplified gives us negative 3, which is negative 33. You can see in some ways that the fraction is easier than multiplying it out, however you like to do this. So we end up with negative 33. What? What did I do wrong? What? Order of operations is important. Nice to make a mistake on occasion, I suppose. All right, got to do the division first. Then you do the addition. Oops. Get to talking too much. That's the problem. All right, we've got 2 plus negative 10 plus 8 divided by 4. It is easy to make errors. This is 2 plus negative 10 plus 2, and it looks like we've got negative 6. See if I can redeem myself a little bit here. It looks like we've got 8 divided by 4, which is 2, and we're multiplying that by 6 plus 10, which is 16, and that's 32. Get to talking too much. And it looks like we have a division first, so we've got 7 plus 6 plus 2. Sorry about the ugly 6 there. That's 13 and 2 is 15. Let's get this done. We have 7 squared. Exponents come before multiplication, so we're talking about 49. And we're multiplying by 6 minus 8, which is negative 2. And when we multiply that, we get negative 98. Again, we've got a squared, so we're talking about 6 plus 2 plus negative 49. I want you to notice I changed something here. I changed from subtraction to addition. That is 8 plus negative 49, which is negative 41. Order of operations matters. We have to do what's inside the parentheses first, and we have to do the multiplication first. So that is negative 16 plus 4 times negative 2. And that is negative 12 times negative 2, which is 24. And 10 plus 4, I'm going to change it to plus negative 7 times 2. We have to do the multiplication first. That is 14. Although, because it's separated by addition, that's the reason I'm allowed to do this if I want to first. Plus negative 14, which is 0. I could have waited and put this 10 plus 4 right there instead, but hopefully you can see that that works. All right, we've got a parenthesis, and we have to do what's inside there first. We've got 3 plus 6, which is 9. We have negative 6 times 9 plus 4. The multiplication comes first. That's negative 54 plus 4, which is negative 50. got a division and a multiplication, both separated by an addition. You have to do the multiplication first. -9 times -4 is positive 36. 10 divided by -10 is -1. So we're looking at 35. I'm going to move this along here so we can get it done. And again, I've got a multiplication separated with a subtraction. But again, I look at those double negatives. And what I see right here is a plus sign. In my head, those two negatives come together and make an addition. So I'm looking at -8 times -7, which is 56, plus plus positive 8. There's the issue. This positive, I'm just going to leave it as a plus. And so I have 8 times -9, which is -72. And looking at the difference here, it's a little confusing. It is 16, I believe. And the negatives win by 16. If you need to, do your subtraction on the side over here. And you have to borrow. And that gives you 6 and 1. And the negatives win. So it's -16. A lot of people are going to grab their calculator for these. Don't do that if you can help it. Well, finally, it's taken me a long time today. All right, we've got 2 plus -6 times, that is 9 right here. That's a 9, and that's -54 plus 2, which is -52. Okay, we've got an exponent this time, yay, and some parentheses. So it looks like I'm looking at -6 divided by 3 is -2 cubed. That's how we say that. And it's being multiplied by -7 minus 3, which is -10. You have to do the cube first. That's -2 times -2 times -2, which is -8. It's being multiplied by -10, which happens to be 80. Now, the reason I was able to do this thing inside the parentheses first was because it's separated by multiplication. That is 80. Okay, we've got a parenthesis, but we have the square inside the parentheses. Here's an issue that you really have to be careful of. That double negative right there, I have to deal with the exponent before I deal with the double negative. And here's the reason. I'm going to explain it just real quick. This is -1. I'm going to go ahead and write the times in there just so that it looks the same. And we've got a 6 minus -6. I'm going to write this as -1 times 6 in parentheses, squared, close the parentheses. This -6 right here is the same as -1 times 6. Does everybody see that you can't put these two negatives together because this -1 is inside the parentheses with a square on it. So this -6 has to be squared, which gives you 6 minus, this is positive 36. And it's being multiplied by -1. The parenthesis indicates the multiplication there. I've got -1 times -30, which is 30. Really easy to make mistakes on these. And do we have any more? Yeah. Okay, I've got -6 plus -14 divided by 2. I can do it like this if I wanted to. -6 plus -7 is -13. Oh, a nice one. -12 plus -12 is -24. We've got a division. I'm going to write it like this. I've got -12 divided by 6, which is -2 plus 10 in my denominator. This is still inside parentheses. That's the -2 part that I was talking about. This is the -24 part that I have right over here. And that is -24 over 8, which is -3. And we're done. And another one, the square is on the outside. I like this one. Okay, here's where multiplication and division matter. Notice that this is division first and then multiplication. So we have to do the division first. 18 divided by negative 18 happens first. Then you multiply by the 11, and then you square it. You have to do this left to right. So you have to go left to right, the division, and then the multiplication. This is negative 1 times the 11 quantity squared. That is negative 11 squared, and that is not a negative. That's negative 11 times itself. Negative 11 times negative 11 is 121. And again, we have a square with a negative in front of it. So this is going to stay negative because this double negative right here ends up being a positive 169. So we have 6 divided by, there's this thing in parentheses, which is 3. And then we have minus, and then I have a 13 squared, which is 169. Well, actually, it's a negative 13 squared, but negative 13 squared is positive 169, which is why I put it right there. Notice the parentheses are there. So now we've got 6 divided by 3, which is 2, plus negative 169. That negative makes it plus a negative, and that is negative 167. Again, really easy to make a mistake. And another one, we've got a cubic. The multiplication is right in the middle. A lot of people mess this up. This is going to be negative 19. I have to do this multiplication first, which is plus 11. And then I also have a plus 4 right there. And then the whole thing is being cubed. Sorry, cubed, I said. There we go. And that is negative 19 plus 11, which is negative 8, sorry, plus 4 cubed, which is negative 4 cubed, which is negative 64. That's negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16, times negative 4, which is negative 64. I should have done these a lot faster. All right, this negative 12 squared is 144. It's in parentheses and it's squared, so I'm going to do it first. I have a minus a negative 6, and I'm going to go ahead and put that as a plus 6, and it's being multiplied by negative 12. This negative 11 plus negative 1 is in parentheses. I have to multiply these together, so I have 6 times negative 12 is negative 72, plus 144, which is 72, and I'm done. We've got a cubic. I've got a multiplication here. That is negative 22 plus 19 cubed minus 19. This is negative 3 cubed, which is minus 19. It's negative 27 minus 19. And we're adding negatives together here. If you like, you can think of this as plus a negative 19, which makes more sense to me. And when you add those together, you get negative 46, and you're done. Oh, finally. My goodness gracious, it took a long time. All right, I am done, and hopefully you'll give it a try yourself. So good luck.